Hello guys, and welcome to another Train Sim World 2 Rolling Stock Showcase. And today I'm answering a viewer request. Well, not really a viewer, it's from Adrian, the man himself, British Hours Locos, and he's asked me to do a comparison between two of the most popular, popular for companies, freight locomotives in the UK. And you could probably guess what they are from the sound they're making. They are, of course, the two Class 66s of the game. So over here we have the Class 66 from the East Coastway line. And then over there we have the original Class 66, which was included way back in Great Western Express. This is one of the first trains in Train Sim World. But we're going to start off with this one, yes. So, details about Class 66. They are ancient. Literally, the first Class 59s, which these are based on, were delivered in the mid-80s. And they were used by Foster Yemen on the stone trains because British Rail's offering was appalling. So they did it themselves. They bought some Class 59s, and that paved the way because of their reliability for the Class 66. So, you'll notice that there's two cabs at each end of the train, but they are different. So this one, the secondary cab, there's this corridor which goes the whole length of the width of the train, and then goes into the cab. Then you have to squeeze your way through to get into the driver's seat. And then if we go to the other end, got this little landing, let's say, which leads comfortably into the cab, much nicer. And of course this is where all of the fuses are. But first of all, I need to talk about a problem with this train. It definitely affects the Great Western one. And if I just go and check, yep, I think. So you'll notice that the tail lights are on both ends of the locomotive, and this is a glitch. Well, not necessarily a glitch, but a fault with how they've been set up in Train Sim World. They're not supposed to be on, and there's a very easy way to fix it. Well, I like to say easy. The train's about 4 years old now and they still haven't fixed it. And then that should fix it. So it's off but isn't off, so that's literally it's probably a really simple fix. They just haven't bothered to do it, and then we'll fix it for the other end as well before we get on to the meat of this episode. So on and off again, then okay, fine. No, oh, there we go. See, now it's fixed. So let's talk about the Class 66. As I said, you've got your fuse cabinet. These can pretty much fuse and defuse. I don't know whether that's the right term. Pretty much everything of a train. I don't know how useful it is, but I'm going to do it anyway. So you've got AWS, but I'm going to leave it off because I can't drive this. Actually, no, I can, so I will keep it on. You've got TSD. Right there, no point turning it on though, right now at least. And then you've got your isolation lights, and that does it for AWS as well. See, it's two lit up. And if I go here, we see the American style column for the power. So you put the burster key in, there you are, I don't know where it is. Oh, sausage. Oh, there it is. The old style AWS button. And of course, you can put it to forwards or reverse. Then you can remove it. Oh, shut up. And then, you've got your power. Gotta leave that as it is though. You've got your switches down here. They appear to be already on. and that's a feature that you'll see in American trains as well, because this is effectively an SD40-2 or something, I don't know. But of course it's been scaled down to fit in the British loading age. For example, it doesn't have a dynamic brake, but it does have two other types of brake. It has this PWM style automatic brake, so apply, and I'll try to, okay, oh no, there you go, no, there you are. Well, I would be able to do something if it actually worked, but you've got your hold in the middle, which keeps it as it is. Apply increases the amount of brake, release releases it, and then you've got the direct brake, which is the same sort of thing. Hold, apply, release, but of course that is only for if you're going light engine. You've got the horn. Pretty appalling. You've got your hazard lights as well. That light seemingly is always on. You hold it down and that flashes for lights. I can't show you it, at least right now. You've got your hot plate. Does nothing. I have no idea why it's implemented. Fresh air. This is your basic air conditioning, because of course these trains are hated by drivers. I mean, they are truly hated. The Class 60s, which these replaced, sadly, were better for drivers in pretty much every way, and they were more powerful. So let's leave the debate on whether they should have been replaced for later on. Desk lights. I don't know what these do. They seem to do those lights there, but I don't know why you'd want them off. So you've got your tail lights, which I mentioned earlier, instrument lights, which have a lovely glow, I love that, and your cab lights, which are just as annoying as always. Brake test, I don't know if it works, don't really care, because nobody's going to use it. And of course you've got different headlights. So day and night are exactly as you expect of day and night headlights, but there's also yard work, which, bloody camera, there you go, has just the marker lights on, and it's used for yard work because the headlights are too bright and they would blind people on the tracks, and you wouldn't want that. But now we move on to the PS du resistance, yes, of the train, the electromotive something display thing. I don't know what it's called. And you've got several options which you can scroll through here. And let's go to data meters. Now this shows you a bunch of statistics of the train, assuming you're actually driving it. It's probably nice to have to look at, but I've got no idea what any of it means. You've got your unit information, which shows you, well, it would show you what number it is, or else I think so. I've got no idea. Now DBS13, we know it's Deutsches Bahn or DB Schenker. Yeah, so the number's correct, which is nice. The exit, traction cutout. I assume that TM means traction motors, and you can basically disable them, assuming there was a fault with them. English and metric, you can change between English and metric units. And then slow speed, it's used in the scenario aggregate industries, I think. And you can set up the slow speed mode using these sort of switch here, but I'm not going to do that because I can't be bothered. And then if you go to exit, you can turn it off entirely, and then on off, brings it back. But it's giving me this warning, I don't know what it means, I don't really care either. So, I think that is everything to discuss regarding the Great Western Express one. So now, let's move on to the much newer, much better East Coastway one. Yes, now this is the East Coast Way one. This is included in the East Coast Way, which released a few years ago. Don't know why it was, considering it's barely used in that route, but here it is anyway. And it is quite different to the original one in a number of ways to make it a vastly better train to drive. Now this only comes in EWS livery, and it's slightly changed, I believe, compared to that one, which has DB Schenker and EWS livery. I think that one's a bit darker in EWS livery, but in the timetable mode it's pretty hard to tell them apart, so that's quite annoying, considering one EWS livery is vastly better and the other one is ancient and not very nice. Now if we go down here, we've got Buckeye couplers, which you do use in a scenario on Great Western Express. One of the best scenarios in the game, actually. I mean, I could talk again about how much better the scenarios in Great Western Express were compared to nowadays, but I'm not going to do, because it is boring. So let's go in here, into the cab, and at first glance not much is different. And indeed not much is different, except for the little screen here, which has quite a bit more stuff. So you've got all of these which are the same, but at the bottom you've got brake timing and brake cutout. So let's go to brake cutout. And currently the brakes are cut in, and then they're cut out. Let's cut them in again. Actually no, I know how I'm going to demonstrate this. Go cut it out, go put the master key in, put him forwards, and there. You see that little needle? That is the brake that you want to apply. But look, the actual brake dial, which is showing how much brake pressure is actually applied, it's not moving. So let's cut it in. Da, 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 it's moving. Yeah, so this tray finally lets you cut out the brakes, so you deactivate them and activate them. And if you're in timetable mode, it's an easy mistake to make. You forget to cut them out. No, I mean cut them in, sorry. And therefore you can't go anywhere. And if we look here, we've got pass and goods, and this is your brake timing. So if we go here, go up one, brake timing, brakes will use passenger timing, and then you press goods, and that uses goods timing, and that affects how fast, I believe, the brakes deactivate or activate. So if you're hauling a passenger train, which you can do with this sort of, then use passenger timings. If you're hauling freight, goods timings. Or Alan Thompson will say something else. I don't know what he says, I don't really care either. It's not that important, it's just a thing. So other things to note, this is just general for Class 66. Windscreen wipers. They are separate for each side, so you are going to have a bastard of time trying to get them to match up. I've done quite well there, but I suspect people who are more OCD than me are going to have a not very fun time with this. Other things to note, you can open the windows, and I believe it does change how the train sounds when you say in the cab. But before I set off to the next station, which I did in the first episode, and I'm going to do it again, I'm going to show you the two wagons that these locos are attached to. So included with the East Coast Way line are these, the JNA wagons. And these are unbranded, as you can see, but you can stand on the ladders and see absolutely nothing. It would be useful if you could see inside the wagons, but you can't. Now, quirk with these wagons is that at this end they are connected the usual way, with the hook coupler, and they've got buffers. But inside you can see, it's a Buckeye, and again a Buckeye. So these are Oh no, and another one. Crikey. And another, okay. There you are. So they're about, what, five of them all attached together, seemingly permanently coupled. So the shortest you can have with this is 5 wagons, and we've got 10 today. Now, I don't like the modelling here. I don't know if it's realistic or not, but it does make me wonder if this is a model taken straight out of Train Simulator, because that is awful. I mean, it's properly ugly. But the texturing is rather nice. I mean, obviously you've got DTGX, Dovetail Games Experimental or something, which replaces a code. I don't know what it'd be. But it does stand out a little bit. I would have preferred if they came out with 7 more random. And of course you've got your tail light, which you cannot get rid of. I believe in the Class 20 pack for Tees Valley, it came with wagons where you could adjust how the lights actually worked. You could set it to automatic or manual, make them on or off. But anyway, let's move on to this, the FKA wagon. These are container wagons, one of the 2 wagon types included with the Great Western Express route, and these have for some reason got cables that just stand out. I don't know where they're standing up. But look, it says DTG on it. DTG. Yeah, luckily the wagons in more modern routes have got actual branding on them. And in newer routes in Train Simulator, they also have fake brands, which I quite like. Not everybody likes them, but I do. So you've got Energy Line, Wave. I like fictional brands in video games in general, so I quite like them. But I understand if you don't, because they do stand out a little bit. And like the J&L wagons from over the other side, this side it's got buffers. And then in the middle, you've got a bar connector. So these are permanently coupled. And just to disappoint you, I don't think... No, okay, you can't open them. Which is slightly disappointing because more modern things you can open. But again, they're old wagons. The modelling's fine, they just need a bit of a touch-up. But anyway, that's done with the wagons. There's another wagon type, the DB Schenker red. I think they're coal or stone wagons. They're not really important, but I'm not gonna bother showing them to you because they're just wagons, and nobody wants a wagon showcase. You can put stone in it. Anyway, let's get driving. Right, I've set up the train and I see when the brakes are cut in. No, I've forgotten. There you are, those 4. I've noticed that this one is quite quiet in the cab. And outside as well. Anyway, you can see the loaded there. What a lovely texture that is. That is bloody awful. It's a bit slow getting going, but this is a heavy load. Not the heaviest load you can pull with this. These are very strong locomotives. Not as much as the 59, but they're workhorses. That's why they're used so often. And that's why they replace pretty much everything, which is why train enthusiasts hate them. So as we pull out of Minehead, that's a screenshot of opportunity. You can see that it does take a while to pull, to get up to speed, of course. And there are 8 notches, but again, you probably shouldn't go straight into notch 8 because I believe you can get this train to boost it pretty quickly. Obviously, I'm going to slow down a little bit because I'm speeding, and we can take advantage of the brake. And as we get down to 10, release the brake, and do it just as the speed limit increases. Lovely. So now I think I'm just going to shut up, not say anything, and you just enjoy the view. And there we are. I cocked up braking near the end there, but this is the Class 66, the Ford Transit of rail freight. pretty uninspiring, but gets the job done. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Give me suggestions for what to do next. But until then, goodbye.